The new phone system is located inside the Microsoft Teams application itself. Microsoft Teams is accessible on any device that has internet access. Teams, though, it can be accessed via a web browser. You'll be able to make calls and receive calls that come your way. And you're going to use your existing Microsoft user credentials to sign into Teams. Now, once you're signed into Teams, your inbound calls, they're going to be presented to you everywhere you're signed into Teams. Another nice thing about Teams is if you are logged into Teams in more than one place, once you're on a call, and that could be a call that you answer or a call that you place, you can move yourself to the other place that you're signed into Teams. Another thing I want to mention is UniVoIP. We are the dial tone provider for the Teams phone system for you guys. Now, every Friday, and this is at 11 a.m. Central Time, we hold what we call a Teams Forum Friday. Just an open Q&A session. We welcome all users, and really it's just to get any questions that you might have answered. How do I do something in regards to the phone system in Teams? Next up here is the Teams desktop calling notifications. In my main monitor in the lower right corner, this is an example of what a direct call to you could look like. Now, there are other notifications, so I've blown them up here so it's a little bit easier to see them. This is that same one, so this is a direct call example. This next one here could be what it looks like if the call comes your way, but it came from a Teams auto attendant. If you happen to be reachable directly off an auto attendant, or maybe off a voice directory option off an auto attendant, or if you've been set as the operator for an auto attendant. So in addition to the caller ID information, which is kind of the stuff right here above the two buttons on the bottom, you're going to see a little bit more information. And this one happens to say transferred by AA_main. This is the name of the resource account the phone number the person called from came into. So it kind of helps to identify what auto attendant this call actually flowed through before it came to me. What if a call came from a call queue and I'm a member of that queue? So it's ringing me to see if I'm going to be able to pick up and help this person. And as you can see, now I can see the resource account name for that particular call queue. So in this case, my one says CQ_sales. And that's kind of nice because what if I wear different hats? Right there, I know that it's not a direct call to me. They're looking for sales. Another example here might be a transfer. So another user on the system, a colleague of yours on Teams, made a call or took a call, and then they ended up transferring that call to you. It actually says transferred by, and it gives you the name of your colleague. So now I know, hey, this person here is calling, but they originally got a hold of Poch. Now he is transferring this call to me. What if another user has forwarded their calls to you? So again, you get some more information up here on this little card that pops open on your desktop. You can check it out while it's being offered to you. There's an advanced feature set, which at the user level, you can actually set up for yourself if you want to. It's called delegation. You can make another person that you work with, one of your colleagues, your delegate. And then there's different permissions you can give that person over your line. So in this case, Poch here has made me his delegate, and he has set up his inbound calls to ring his delegate. I have an opportunity here while it's ringing to intercept his call and pick it up on his behalf. What about if a user is adding you to their existing call? It says Poch is calling you from a group. So he's already on a call with somebody else. And that could have been a call that he took. It could have been a call that he made. He has added me as a participant to his call. So if I want to join his call, I can join it. You can just take your mouse and you can click on that purple handset, and that's going to answer the call. Or you can hit the little red box there, and that will stop the notification. It'll stop it ringing you. You will answer this call if you click anywhere on this card, even in the middle of it, except the red box or the X in the upper right corner. The user is adding you to their existing meeting. So in this case, Poch is in a Teams meeting, and he would like me to join him. So he's added me as a user to his live meeting. So I can click accept, and then I'll become a participant in his meeting. I'm inside Teams. I'm on the Calls app or Calls tab over here on the left-hand side. The Calls tab has 3 columns. So in the left column, this is where your dial pad is. And underneath the dial pad where it says work number, whatever that number is, that is your backdoor number. So if I was to give this number out to anybody and they were to call it, it's going to ring me directly. So how do I call somebody? You don't have to hit a 9 or a 1. The 1 gets added automatically for you. You're just going to do 10-digit dialing, starting with the area code. So if you want to call somebody who's not a contact, maybe you want to order a pizza, you can just go ahead and start with 10 digits. That's all you need. I could use my mouse and I can click on these And then just above the dial pad, it says type a name or number. So if I start clicking here, see how it puts those numbers up there for me? Because I'm on a computer, I can also use keyboard, 408-555-1254. You can also copy and paste. Now, most of the time, we're going to be calling people that we've called before or that are contacts on the system. And they can be internal contacts, they can be external contacts. Just go ahead and start typing their name. So if I want to call Poch, all I have to do is start typing his name, first name or last name. POC, that's how you start his name. There's my matches, and there he is. So now I can select Poch. Underneath the dial pad, see where it says call? I just click that box and that will initiate the call. So if it's a contact that's already on the system or a contact that you've added to your own Outlook, you'll be able to search for those contacts up in this field. Now that's a one-to-one call. Now what if I wanted to do a three-way call and I knew that right off the bat? You can preload other contacts in here too, like Dean. If I start typing his name, I can select him. So now when I hit call, it's going to be a three-way call between myself, Poch, and Dean. I can put a 10-digit phone number up here if I wanted to as well. Now, underneath the dial pad, there is a parked calls box. Call parking is a global hold area that has multiple parking spots. You can have different people parked at the same time. They're just parked on different parking spots. So if you get a call from someone internally or someone chats you or somebody walks by your desk and says, hey, Che, you got a call parked on 15. Then all you have to do is click park calls and then enter 15 in the pop-up to unpark that call. Underneath parked calls, you might have some other options here. If you're part of somebody else's call group, it'll show you that here. A quick forward is here. So if I want to forward my calls to voicemail, I can just click this and go to voicemail. Now I can always turn that off by just hitting don't forward. And then you might also have this one here, what device you're using for your mic and speakers. What about this middle column? So this is your call history. It's chronological, top down, and you can scroll back a little in time if you need to. What's nice here is if you want to call somebody from your call history, you can just hover over the row, and then there's a call box here. This call history is made up of 4 different categories. It's your inbound calls, it's your outbound calls, it's calls that came in but you missed, and it's your voicemail. So if somebody does leave you a voicemail, you'll see that listed here within your call history. This is actually my favorite way to check voicemail. So you could click the all here and change it to just look at voicemail, for example. So here are my last 2 voicemails. These ones I have not deleted yet. That's why they're still here. If any of these were new, they'd be in bold. And I'd also have a little red dot above here letting me know that I have a voicemail that I haven't checked yet. Now, when you do get a voicemail, you're also going to get an email. So in your Outlook, in your inbox, you'll get an email. The transcription of what the person said will be in the body of that email. And there'll be a WAV file, an audio file attached to that email. Click on this one from Poch. So now that I've clicked on it, this right panel is now temporarily where I can check that voicemail. Here is the transcription. But if I really want to listen to it, I can hit the play here. I can also speed up or slow down the playback by clicking on the 1x drop down here. If I do play it, this little slider will move across as it plays. So that's halfway through right there. You can drag and drop this if you want to fast forward or rewind. If I want to call the person back who left me this voicemail, I click on the handset, it's going to call him back. Now, because Poch is internal, I can also do a video call with him, or I can click on the chat icon, which opens up my existing chat feed with Poch. What about this other one? This one's external. It actually says external here. So the same thing, I can read the transcription. I can play it if I really want to listen to it. I can click the handset to call the person back. Now, in the call history row itself, there's also a ... If I click on that, you'll get some other options, and one of them is delete. If I do delete it here, it's going to remove the email from my Outlook as well, and vice versa. If I was to check this in my inbox, I can listen to it there or read the transcription there. If I delete that email, it's going to delete it off the system completely. I can add this person to my speed dial. So where is your speed dial? Well, your speed dial is this right column, unless you're checking a voicemail like I am right now. Or you can block so that if that same person tries to come back to your line using the same caller ID, it won't ring you. They won't even get a chance to leave you a voicemail. You reset this, hit the X here, go back to all. This person here, that's external. I can go to the ... and I can block. Add to speed dial. If from the history it's showing up by name and you want to add them to your speed dial, that's a good way to do it. But if it's an outside phone number, I recommend not adding them to your speed dial from your history. The way I would do it is by clicking on this little icon here. I'm going to click it. You'll get a pop-up. If it's already a contact on the system that you want to add, just start typing the name, first or last name, like maybe a guy I work with. So I can click on him now. That's the match. And if I click add, he will now show up over here by name. Now, what if it's an outside phone number? Click on that little speed dial icon. Put the 10-digit phone number in here. You can type it in. You can paste it in. Let's say it's 469-555-1254. Add. And now you get an opportunity to clear out the first name field and put the actual name of the person or the business that's behind this phone number, so that when you click save, that outside contact shows up over on your speed dial by the name that you gave it, instead of having to look at a phone number. The people you call the most, get them over here on your speed dial, whether they're internal or external. Another nice thing about having those internal people that you call the most on your speed dial is their current real-time Teams status, their presence is there. See, Cindy's on my speed dial and she's away from her desk. There's that orange colored circle. What about Dean? He's green. He's available. If Cindy or Dean were on a phone call right now, they'd be red, like Nikki is down here. And then to call somebody from your speed dial, just hover over the row and then click on that little handset. Let's check out the settings real quick. Near the upper right of Teams, to the left of your name, is going to be a little settings and more, the good old ... I'm going to click on that. Now there is built-in help. So if I go to the help and say get help, a new window is going to open up. Let me drag it over. And this is help everything Teams. It's not just the phone system. You can search the help. You can scroll and kind of browse through the help, like calls and devices. How do I answer a call? How do I start a call? How do I put a call on hold? How do I transfer? How do I park? This time I'm going to go to settings, the devices area within the settings. There's a drop down for speaker and there's a drop down for microphone. So if you're using a headset, you probably want to select that headset on both of these. But the reason why these are separated is some people want to use different devices for a speaker versus a mic. If you do have something new or you haven't called yet using Teams, from a device standpoint, I would use the make a test call option here so that you can test what it is that you're trying to use as your speaker and your mic before you actually get into a meeting or make a call to make sure it's working correctly. And then from an inbound call ringing perspective, if you scroll down, there is an option for secondary ringer. I'm not always at my desk per se. Let's say sometimes I'm 10 feet away doing some filing or something. I can have that other speaker device be my secondary ringer. It's going to ring on the headset. It's also going to ring at the same time through whatever this secondary device is. Let's go to the calls area now within the settings itself. So this is a way where you can forward your calls and you get to decide where you want to forward them to. So I'm not forwarding right now, but if I click on this, now I am, and I'm forwarding to my voicemail. That's the default, but this is a drop down. I could forward to another number or to a contact. I can type the name of a colleague, and then until I turn this off, my calls would be forwarded to that person. I can put a 10-digit phone number in here, area code first, and if somebody calls me, it's going to go to that outside number instead of my Teams. I'm going to go ahead and set it back to not forwarding. You might have this option here. When you receive a call, do not ring anyone else. Well, that's a simultaneous ring option. I could put a phone number in there, or I can do a contact, in which case it could ring anywhere I'm logged into Teams and that contact and that phone number simultaneously. This option here, when I'm in a call and receive another call. So I'm letting new calls ring me because it doesn't bother me if I'm on a call and I see a notification pop up because somebody else has called me. I don't have to answer it, but I like to know about it. So if you're ever in a situation where you're expecting an important call that you don't want to miss, I would set it like that. Let new calls ring me so that you have an opportunity to answer that important call, even if you're already on another call or in a meeting. Now, the default for this is redirect as if it's unanswered, which means it's just one call at a time. Don't bother me if another call comes in. And then when you can't answer a call, voicemail is the default. How long does it ring you for before it goes to your redirect? In this case, voicemail. So 20 seconds, about 4 rings is the default, but you can have it be as little as 5 seconds or as much as a whole minute before it goes to your redirect. Choose a ringtone. So calls for you, calls directly for me. So if you're sitting in an environment with somebody really close to you, you might want to check on who's using what ringtone for their calls for you, quote unquote, so that it doesn't sound the same when their call comes in and your call comes in. There's quite a few you can choose from. You can play them to see what they sound like, pick one you like. Now, forwarded calls, you could have a separate ringtone. So when Potch was forwarding his calls to me, I have it set to a different one so that audibly it sounds different when it's a forwarded call. So I know even without looking at the contact card that pops open, somebody else has forwarded their call to me. And then there's delegated calls, my boss's call, right? It's somebody that I'm supporting. Maybe it's my manager because they made me their delegate. There is a manage voicemail section here. You can hit the recorded greeting if you want to record it in your own voice. But what most people do is they scroll down to where it says your custom greeting, and this is the text-to-speech box. So they'll just type in whatever they want it to say here. Now, what's important about the text-to-speech box is think about it phonetically. You don't have to have the spelling be perfect. And I purposely misspelled my name here. See, my name is Che, but it's spelled C-H-E. If I put C-H-E in here, it'll say, you have reached Che's voicemail. I want it to sound like Che's. That's why I put it C-H-A-Y. So phonetically, it sounds right. There's also an out-of-office voicemail area here. It is syncing with your Outlook. This could be what it plays automatically when you're out of office. So anytime you have an out-of-office event on your calendar and somebody calls you directly, that's what they hear if they go into your voicemail. The manage call group, this is an opportunity for you to add your own call group. It could be one or more people that you work with. Then up here, that call group could be an endpoint for your forwarding, for your simultaneous ringing, for if you don't answer a call. And then that advanced feature set called delegation. Look at it this way. Everybody's their own boss. And if you want to have somebody else that you work with help you with your line, you can click add a delegate here, name them by name, one at a time. You can have more than one if you need. And then you can give them up to 6 different permissions over your line, like being able to answer calls on your behalf, being able to put a call on hold that's on your line that they've answered. You can see it as the boss and you could take it off of hold. They can make calls on your behalf so it looks like it's you that's calling from a caller ID perspective instead of them. So let's get on a call here. I want to show you what it's like when you're on a live phone call using the desktop calling, the built-in soft phone. I'm going to click on this little handset for lobby phone. That happens to be a device that it's sitting close to me. So I placed a call to an external contact, and here it is in its own floating call window. So you can resize this, you can move it around. Now there is some call controls along the top here. So I do have a running timer of how long the call has been going for so far. There is a dial pad option. When I click on the dial pad, now I have the ability to make tones. So maybe I called my bank and they said, enter your option or enter your account number. It's not to call out to other people. That's on a different option. This is just for tones. If you want to put this call on hold, you can press the hold here. And now this call's on hold. And there's a separate on hold timer. So you can see how long that person is on hold for. So when you put somebody on hold, you're the one that gets them off a hold at some point. So when you're ready to get it back to them, just go ahead and click the little play button here. If you hover over it, it says resume. You can transfer this call and you can transfer to a contact. You can transfer to an outside 10-digit number if you wanted to. And there's 2 kinds of transferring. By clicking on transfer, you get a couple choices. I'm going to click on the regular one, just says transfer. The other one's called consult, then transfer. So I'm just going to do the regular transfer here. You'll get a pop-up and it just wants to know, who do you want to transfer this call to? Who's the target of the transfer? So some suggestions are already here, people I work with. If one of these is right, I can just select it. Otherwise, I'm going to start to type the name of the person. Maybe it's Potch, and then select that person. You can put a 10-digit phone number in here if you want to. Now, because Potch is internal, I have a couple other options here. On this drop down underneath, I can select transfer to their voicemail. So now if I click transfer, this call is going to go into Potch's voicemail without his line ever ringing. Another thing I can do is click the ring back option. So if I click transfer now, this caller is going to go to Potch. It's going to ring his line. Hopefully he picks up. But if he doesn't pick up, it's not going to go to his voicemail. It's going to come back to me, because I clicked the ring back box before I hit transfer. And the other one here is a call topic text field where I can put up to 48 characters of just typing to give Potch a heads up. Whatever I type in here is going to become part of that notification card, that he can see the caller ID. He can see that I'm the one that's transferring this call to him. And he can also see whatever it is I type in here. But for most cases, you're just going to click transfer. You're going to type in the person it's going to, and then just click this transfer box. And when you do, everything will collapse and you're back to cruise control. There was a second kind of transfer. So if I click the transfer, the other choice was consult, then transfer. It wants to know who the target is. Maybe it's Bill. And now I have the option to start a call with Bill while the person I'm transferring is on hold. And I can have a private heads up with him. And then when he says I'm ready, then on that next window, there's a transfer and that completes the transfer. Now, because Bill is internal, I can also, instead of calling him first, I could open up a chat window with him and I can type back and forth. And if he accepts it, I hit transfer on that chat window. I'll go back to this call. If you want to add more people to your call, you can. There's a people icon here. Now a participants panel opens up on the right and it says invite someone or dial a number. So I can start to type the name of a contact. As soon as I select them, my call is going to call that person. If I put a 10-digit phone number in here and select it, that number is going to be dialed. And then you'll see the extra people down here listed. And you can put additional people on top of each other. Just keep going if you really need to. And then you're going to have individual mute controls. And if you go to the ... you can even kick individuals out of your call. Microphone, of course, that's going to allow you to mute yourself. Click it, nobody hears you. Click it again. Now they can hear a microphone. To the right of the microphone, there's a down caret. If you select that, you can change the device that you're using for your speaker or for your microphone or both without the call dropping. And from a speaker standpoint, this is the volume of your speaker. There's also a more menu here. So if I click on that, one of the options is to record. So if I start this recording, this is on-demand call recording. The call will start recording from the time I click this. Any participants on my call will hear a message letting them know the call is being recorded. When the call's over, this recording is going to be in a recordings folder for me, because I'm the one that clicked it, in my Microsoft SharePoint. There'll be a recording folder, and there'll be a link to it in the call history. There'll be a little red dot in the middle of the call history, letting me know that I recorded this call or part of this call. Also on the More menu is Park Call. So this is how to park a call. If you put somebody on hold, you're the one that's supposed to get them off a hold. But if you park a call, you or anybody else you work with can unpark that call. They just need to know where it's parked. So I'm going to select Park Call. Now the system's going to tell me where it's parked. This one is on code 10. I can close this window. I can go back to cruise control. I can call somebody else. Hey, you got a call parked on 10. I can chat somebody else, chat that they have a call parked on 10. Maybe there's a team of people in Teams that I'm part of. I can click on that and just chat to the team. Hey, can somebody pick up this call on 10? Whoever wants to get that can click their parked calls box underneath their dial pad and enter 10, because that's where this call is parked, and then hit pickup. And then by doing that, whoever did that now has that call. Now, if you ever do have two windows at once, in other words, you're on a call and then you're on hold on another call, you can merge those two calls together. Because if another call came in right now, I could take it, which would put this one on hold, and there'd be another floating call window for the one I just answered. Or I can go over here and I can place another call, which will be in another window. So if you ever do have two of these windows, one that you're talking to and one that's on hold, you can go to the More, and right above where it says Parked Call, it'll say Merge Calls. You're only going to see that option if you have two going at once. I'm going to go ahead and click Leave. This is the hang up. I'll be the one hanging up on this call. That is the stuff that I would want to know from a Teams desktop calling perspective coming into the new Teams phone system on day one.